go. Let's go. Woo. Yeah.
I'm going with 58. I'm going with 58, dude.
It doesn't matter. I'm not counting.
This is fucking 58. It matters, okay? Get your shit together.
Nope.
Hey.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Welcome in, everybody. That's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan, and this is episode 58. I don't know why you got your head up your ass. Last week, you wanted to label last week's 58. I told you it was 57, but I believe this is our 58th podcast. We are going to be action-packed. Action-packed. We are 3 weeks in a row. Why are you wearing sunglasses?
Because it's my way of just like, you're yelling at me. We just got going and you're fucking up my ass. And I'm like, this is my blinders. I'm not paying attention now. I put on the sunglasses. You know, I'm not paying attention anymore because you can't see my eyes.
Episode 58 will go into the record books as the shortest podcast and possibly the last one. We're attempting to do a podcast 3 weeks in a row. I've got a listener email that I would like to share with you. We're going to talk a little CDs, and then I came up with a top 5 that you said to me was a little difficult for you.
You know what? You hit it. You know, I try to go first impressions. Whenever you go, hey man, what about this for a top 5? I immediately look at it and I go, okay, bam, 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 bam. I try to get right out of the top of my skull.
Yeah, stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Yes. Well, then what do? I do that. I write them down, and then I go start digging around. And then when I start digging around, I go, oh yeah, I'm stupid because there's way more shit on the internet than my brain can handle. So
yeah,
now I got, dude.
I was saying you added your stupid thing.
Bethanks. What fucking glasses are going back on, dude? I can't see I don't have my 5. I got a list of about 15. Between us yapping, I got to come up with my fucking 5. I'm not even going to say what it is. That's the tease right there in the biz. They call that a tease.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little top 5. And then you said you wanted to hit me up with a little office talk. We'll get into that. Final thoughts. So, we're going to be busy. We're going to be busy for the next however long this takes us to get through. I think this is 58, bro. Yeah, when you sent me, Jason kind of does all the work after we're done with the podcast, and he sends it over to me. I told him it was 57, and then he sends me the graphic and everything. And he said it's 58. And I don't remember what you said in your email, but it seemed like you were like maybe talking down to me, like, "Hey, asshole, this is 58." What makes you think that last week was 58?
I don't know. It was last week. I forgot. You know what it is? Because I look at the previous ones on our YouTube channel. By the way, smash the subscribe button. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, shit, man. I just made a graphic. It says 57. Well, the last one was 57. I fucked it up, or somebody fucked it up. So I just keep going. So somewhere in there, the numbering game got whacked. Whether I was talking down to you, maybe that came across in the email that way. And I probably totally meant it. So yeah, I probably was. Fair enough.
You like to hear? We haven't had an email about the podcast in a long, long time.
Well, you don't do them, you don't get emails. It's pretty simple, man.
Well, and that he points that out. Brother Rod, I'm so glad you decided to keep the Play Pants pod going. Missed a few weeks. You didn't say anything about it. We were thinking it was killed off. Last 2 weeks have been great. Love you and Jason together. Would love to hear some more stories about you both living together in the early days. You used to mention it a while ago when the podcast first started, and we used to roll. Both the wife and I listen on Thursday evening, and it always makes our day. Keep doing what you do, Ray and Shelly, in parentheses, the wife. So Ray and Shelly, so they look forward to it. It's Thursday has become like listen to the podcast day. They listen in the evening. So we record on Wednesday night, and then we upload it Thursday morning. And, people got to work and stuff. So they're back. They're glad that we're back on a little bit regular rotation. Have we not talked about you and I living together in a long time? I don't think we have.
You know what? It's funny because every once in a while, my mom will say something like, remember when you and Rod used to live together and you did this? I'm like, no, I don't remember that at all. Ma, I don't think you must be thinking of somebody else, because I don't remember that at all. Because I blocked most of it out. Not that any of it was bad. We had.
It's 20 years ago. That the last time we lived together. The last time we lived together was 20 years ago.
Holy shit. Wow. When did you get old? Holy Christ. That's crazy. You know what? Did we ever talk about, and you must have stuff lined up because you've had time to think about this. I haven't, but did we ever talk about our year 2000 party we had in the backyard before?
I don't know, but It was a pretty good party. I don't mind discussing it. The year was 2000.
Yeah.
And we are renting a house at that point.
Yeah.
So we don't really care. Let's have a party. Well, I mean, it didn't matter. When we had our own houses, we still had parties all the time, but we're renting a house. And there is something, when you rent a house, I understand if you kick a fucking ice cube under the refrigerator, that means you're renting your house. Anyone out there that kicks an ice cube under the fridge of a house that you own, then it's friend off. If you do it, you're renting, I get it. You got to lose that mentality. Moving on. It's 1999.
Yeah. And
it's coming up on 2000.
Well, you know what it was? It wasn't a New Year's thing. It was a spring thing. It was like the night before Easter. So that's what it was.
Oh shit. We got people in town.
Yeah. We got friends in town. We got a lot going on, and we're like, what we should do. And we were probably hammered at like the lamplighter. It all went down on a napkin like everything else. And it was like, hey, we should do like a tiki party. Cause for some reason you were kind of into it, wearing some Hawaiian shirts. I was into it. We kind of were into that thing for a while. And we called it Tiki 2K because it sounded fucking cool. Cause we're in radio.
So Jason made a jingle for the party, and it was the Hawaii 5-0 music, and it was Tiki 2K, Tiki 2K, da 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 da.
I forgot.
So it's like as the build up for Hawaii 5-0, we're singing Tiki 2K, Tiki 2K, da da da, Tiki 2K, da 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 da, and the invitations were cassettes.
Oh my God, such fucking losers.
How fucking cool is that invitation? You had to get a cassette. And we dubbed off a bunch of those. And that's what got you into the party. If you had the cassette, the Tiki 2K.
I would love to hear how shitty that is today, because I know it's shitty now. Thinking back on that, it had to be shitty.
Listen, I have a lot of shit. You know what a pack rat I am. And I don't remember ever coming across, because I would have saved it. Yeah. I got a cassette player, not even a foot from me right here. I don't remember ever coming across one. I remember they were labeled. It said Tiki 2K on it, and that's it.
Yeah, because all the information, you had to listen to it.
Yeah, you had to listen to the cassette to get into our party.
Oh my God, a fucking mess. And you're like, hey, and we just kept building it. We started off pretty like, yeah, let's just have some friends over and we'll get some beers and we'll do the thing. And then it became, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be cool if everyone, we're just going to have a party. And they're like, wait, everyone's going to show up in a Hawaiian skirt, a Hawaiian shirt, the theme. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. It'd be cool to have a shot girl walking around at our party.
We did have a shot girl walking around. I think we had a bartender too, because you had that outdoor bar.
Mm-hmm.
So we got somebody to be a bartender at the party. And then we had a shot girl walking around.
It's fucking wild.
And then it wasn't long that the party was going on that the cops came, because it was in our backyard, and it wasn't a big backyard. It was a small house that we were renting. But I mean, it's in a very small neighborhood. So there's cars going down for miles, and our backyard is absolutely packed.
Yep.
You remember the cops showing up, right?
How could I forget? I'm cooking. I'm barbecuing, man. I'm on the griller, man. I'm fucking flipping dogs and burgers. I'm rolling, and then hey, cops are here. Sweet.
Now the cop was an attractive female that came out to Lakeview. This is the house that we were. No,
that was Metairie, man.
That was Metairie, brah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in Metairie, just outside of New Orleans, and I remember the cop walking in. She was attractive.
Yes.
And somebody yelled out, "Hey, the stripper's here." And I knew that we hadn't ordered a stripper. I knew you didn't order a stripper.
Never.
She was that good looking though, but she's clearly wearing NOPD. I mean, like strippers that dress up as cops don't look. This was legit cop. I mean, I don't know who this idiot was that said, "Hey, the stripper's here."
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like she was slightly flattered by that. If I was wasted, I don't know. I don't feel like she was upset about that.
No. And what's really great,
it's like saying like you're really attractive.
Is that, yeah, well, I had like my brother and his buddy, and I had a lot of friends in town. So I was kind of And plus it was at our house. I'm like, okay, let me pump the brakes. Let me not dive in too hardcore out of the gate here. Let me kind of wander through this party for a while, see how it goes, fully expecting the cops to show up at some point. So that was in the back of my mind. So I'm grilling and chilling right there and in the backyard. Well, the cop had to walk down our driveway and then around the corner. Well, that's where I'm standing. She's standing right next to me. And all I hear is, hey, strippers are here. And I'm like, holy shit. So what do? What's the first thing you do? Cops show up. You get them the fuck away from the problem. I'm like, hey, oh, wow. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good to see you. And I just start, hey, let's go out front and talk. It's too loud back here. And I start walking her down the driveway back to the front yard because God knows what the fuck's happening in our backyard. I'm like, get her out of here. I start walking her to the front. I'm being talky boy and I'm trying to be nice and cool and like, oh yeah, no, you're right. The music's pretty loud. A lot of people here and shit. Dude, I'm talking to her for like 10 minutes. I'm hearing all kinds of vile shit being yelled in the backyard. I'm like, I'll talk to everybody. I'll get them calmed down. I said, but I'll do it. She's like, I do not want to come back here. If I come back here, somebody's going to jail. I'm like, well, you know what? I'll get things tightened up. Okay. I said, we'll turn the music down because it is getting late, all that good stuff. And I said, look, do it. And I said, and dude, this is the way we were rolling at that time period in our lives. We just we would throw shit out there. I swear to God, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I go, hey, listen, what time are you done? You cruise back by the party. We'll have it toned down, but it'll still be going. It'll still be cool.
I think I do remember somehow an offer when she was done with her shift to come back.
Dude, I swung the bat. It didn't work. She didn't fucking come back. So I had to come in there and I go, hey guys, turn the music down and all this shit.
Was she, let me ask you a question on the spot. Was she hot because she was hot or was she hot for a cop? Two different levels.
Yeah.
Was she hot? Was she a hot cop or was she a hot chick who happened to be a cop?
I think she's probably a hot cop. You know what I mean? Like you got that fantasy going down. She was good looking. I remember her being attractive. I can't see her face, but I do remember everyone going, holy shit.
I think she was pretty hot. Like if she came back, she'd be super hot.
Yeah. You get rid of the handcuffs.
But you can't get rid of it because she's a cop. Damn it. I don't know. See, it's ruined. You that's it. My judgment is based off of, I've already seen you in that outfit.
Right. So the cops showed up and we had, sun was coming up. We're still in the backyard. I love you, man. That whole thing. So yeah. And it seems like we had a bunch of blow up fucking Budweiser, Bud Light furniture in the backyard. That was our furniture for the party.
Yeah, there was some of that. I think we got, it wasn't sponsored, but I think we got a bunch of stuff for the party. I think Bud Miller, I don't know. They hooked us up with a bunch of shit. Good party.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of the backyard at that house, and then we'll move on because I do want to talk about some other things. Did we have a refrigerator, like a beer refrigerator outside at that house? And then you met some kids years later that said they used to steal beers from our backyard.
Oh, shit. No, it wasn't that house.
I'm screwing up another place that we lived at.
Yeah, the house you bought with the pool.
Those fuckers were going into our backyard of the house that I bought.
Because the house you bought, we had like the patio, and I brought the goofy outdoor bar with us and the pool, and we had an outdoor fridge out there because we were always fucking pounding beers out in the pool.
I don't remember a refrigerator being outside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had one out there.
Okay,
maybe, so I don't know. Didn't
you meet? Okay, go ahead.
Either way, I was out one time, and this was a couple of years ago when this happened. This was years ago when these kids, well, they weren't kids then. They were all like 20 or some shit, 21. And they're like, hey, you're Genty, right? And I forget where I was when I met them. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, man. It's like, hey, didn't you used to live with Rod Ryan? And I'm like, it's not, that was never something we really talked about on the air or anything like that. So you had to be like friends of ours to kind of know that, it was never a thing that we really put out there very often. I don't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't like a part of our show or anything that we talked about living together. Because we ended up doing mornings the last year that I was there, and we were living together.
Right. But we never really talked about it, I don't think, because then it just starts sounding gay. At the end of the day, we just start sounding gay.
Probably why we didn't say anything. Yeah.
Probably why. At the time, it was a little different. We weren't so sensitive back then as we are today. Either way, so these kids are like, yeah. You lived over on the corner of X and Y Street there. And I'm like, yeah, we did. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. How the fuck do you know that? We sure as shit didn't tell anyone out of our friends where we lived, because that's nuts, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, we did. Why? How do you know that? And the kids are like, we used to live around the corner. And when we were kids, you guys would have parties all the time. And we always would listen in on your fucking parties, which were ridiculous. And then we knew you'd had beer back there. So we'd sneak back when you guys are at work during the day, because you're on the radio. And we know, I'm like, holy fuck, this is scary. And they would steal
free security cams. There's no Ring doorbells. There's none of that.
And they were kids. They were just chugging it. They were drinking our beer, stealing our beer. And how are we going to know? We don't know, because we know when you're pounding beers, you just fucking, at the end of the night, you're like, who knows how many.
Okay. I remember you telling me something, meeting some kids saying that they used to steal our beer, which I'm not even really mad. I think it's pretty resourceful, to be honest with you.
I thought it was, I was laughing my ass. I'm like, are you fucking, I said, I can't wait to tell Rod this story. He's going to shit his pants. Because that's, you know what? Because that's the kind of shit we would do to other people. And the fact that somebody else was doing it to us, I was like, oh, that's some poetic justice right there, man. I love it. I freaking love it. So, yeah. Yeah, right, I don't want to really sit around the campfire and chew the rag about how we used to live together and do dumb shit. I mean, we've covered a lot on this podcast. Yeah, go back and listen to older episodes, and you'll hear some interesting discoveries.
I got a couple of good stories. Ray, Shelley, thank you guys so much for listening. I will do a better job. I will sprinkle some of that stuff in. I got plenty of things to talk about from back in those days when Jason and I lived together. And I mean, you were the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years that we lived together. You were dating who you're married to right now.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact,
she would come over and hang out.
We party. We drink tons of beers and play pinball all damn night. It was great, man. We would have people hanging out, and it was like, oh, in fact, you know what? I just told the story the other day. I freaking, the first night, who is now my wife, and I hung out. I was actually the on ice announcer for the New Orleans Brass. It was a ECHL minor league hockey team, and I did it for 2 years. So I'd work at the radio station all day long. Then I'd cruise over to the arena, and I would sit there for 3.5 hours, however long a hockey game is, and be like, penalty to number 75, whatever, and do that for 3 hours. So like on a Friday night, I've been working all week. I'm like driving home going, I just want to fucking go to bed. You know what I mean? Like I was done. I cruise up and I'm like, whose fucking cars are here at the house? This is where we live in over on where the party was. We're living
and I'm having a little get together.
You got a couple of lady friends over, and I walk in. I'm like, well, hello. I'm not so tired all of a sudden. Now look at me. I'm all perky. And I look, and there's our friend Kristen and another girl. And then my wife is sitting there, and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? And you're like, hey, we're going to go out, hit the town a little bit. I'm like, I'll be showered up in 4 minutes. I'll be ready to go. Boys and girls, let's go. And we were out till the fucking sun came up. I remember that.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how you can go from feeling one way, and then all of a sudden, oh, boom, wait a minute, what's going on over here? We were just hanging out drinking beers. And then I remember you coming in, and you're like, no, I'm going. No, I'm going. Let's go.
This guy invited himself. We're out of here, right? Let's go. And then, we chatted up all night, and here we are with a kid and a house and dogs, and it's wild, dude. Life is crazy. Some nights you just, it works out for you, I guess. So yeah, good email. I like that one, man. If you got emails or comments, please throw them our way. We will read them. May not necessarily always respond, but we'll read them for sure.
I'll get to them. Today, as we record this podcast on Wednesday, August 17th, today's the 17th, 40-year birthday of the compact disc. So where they're putting ground zero for that, what they're celebrating, the birth, it's the first CD that was produced. Right. So this isn't on store shelves. This isn't even here in America yet, which, it's like when bands celebrate anniversaries. It's like, what are you doing? The time that when you guys bumped into each other in the high school hallway, are you counting all the gigs you did around the bars at home? Are you counting from your first album? Bands are trying to get these marquee dates, and they're trying to kind of get a couple of extra anniversaries out there to milk.
Sure.
So what they're doing with the CD, the first CD was produced at a German factory today in 1982. So the first CD to be released came out in Japan not until October. And it was 52nd Street by Billy Joel, Big Shot. There's a bunch of big songs on that. Now, they didn't just release one CD. I guess they picked 50. And Billy Joel's 52nd Street was not a new album at the time that they released it. It came out in 78. So we're talking, years afterwards. But it was a little bit random, but they released 50 CDs. The thing that Billy Joel gets credit for is you got to number these things. Even on the machine, they keep track of things. There's all kinds of ISKI codes and things. And for some reason, that one was given number 1. So that is the first CD. So give it up to Billy Joel, man. So it got me thinking a little bit about timetables and time frames. Now, this is how my brain works. And I know we've talked before about firsts. There was a great list we did. I think it was one of our better lists. And it was first record, first cassette, first CD, first download, first, I can't remember. But I remember those things. So the last vinyl I bought was 1990. And it was Jane's Addiction, Ritual, De Lo Habitual with Stop, Been Caught Stealing. Okay. So it's 1990. Now, CDs exist, okay, because they came out. They've been out. I'm already 8 years at, well, I don't know when they were. I don't have the date when they were released in the States. But by 1985, there were about 2,600 CD titles available, which is a lot. That year, there were 50,000 albums out.
Right. It seems like Springsteen's Born in the USA came out like around 84. It was one of the
I heard that
ones.
too.
Yeah.
But CDs are out for a good 5 years. And I don't have the money to buy a CD player. A CD player was like $1,000 back then.
Yeah, they were a lot.
CDs were $20 a piece, where I'm getting albums and stuff. I'm getting albums for like $8-9. The last album that I bought that I said, okay, no, I'm sticking with this. It's that Jane's Addiction album. And I didn't go and replace everything, but I just started buying CDs thereafter. So 1990 is when I go out and I buy, totally rando, but I buy Billy Squier, Don't Say No, which is an amazing album. It's got great songs on it. And I'm playing it on the air for the youngsters on the show. Dude, nobody knows who Billy Squier is. Alex and Tessa, both of them have no idea who Billy Squier is. And you're thinking, man, I know that stuff's been used in movies. I know that even Eminem sampled Stroke Me. But when I had across the street, now he's a little bit younger of our neighbors, and he's probably 36. I'm playing him Billy Squier. No idea. Millennials have no idea who Billy Squier is, which blows my mind. Wow. But I remember that was my first CD. So I don't remember your first list, but did you have like a first CD? Do you remember what it was, what you bought?
It seems it was early 90s because I had actually went out and finally bought a CD player. I was a cassette guy. I had cassettes. I had the drawers full of cassettes. I had the thing.
I had a combination of those two, and there's really no rhyme or reason what I bought on cassette and what I bought on album. I can't come up with a definitive, this is when I got my boom box. I know when I got my boom box, but I was getting them. It seemed like I got Quiet Riot, and then I got, Quiet Riot on cassette, and then I got Rat on vinyl. There's no rhyme or reason there. And I can't figure out what my mindset was unless I was just buying cheap, whatever was on sale.
Could be. I remember my mom was in the record store, the penny for 50 albums thing, and
Columbia House.
So she would buy stuff for her, and then she'd be like, hey, I got this. So I was getting albums and I had just a really garbage record player, but I had one. I never bought vinyl, I don't think. It was just kind of like my mom would have these extra slots to fill on her form, and so she'd pick some shit. So I got some.
Did you get Van Halen first?
Got the 1984 album. I got Synchronicity from the Police. There's a couple others that were really cool too. And so I had a fair amount of albums, but I as soon as I got my boombox, it was all about the cassette because that was the new hotness. So that was the cool thing. So I'm getting cassettes because then they had the Walkman. So I got one of those, and so the cassette was my world. That was my world. So by the time the early 90s roll, I've got a job. I buy a CD player. The prices had come down. I think I brought For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge from Van Halen in 91 because it came out in 91, and probably like 6 or 7 other CDs that I cannot remember what the hell they are. So I started with a fistful of them and then moved on from there. I still got, dude, you know what? Over the weekend, not to get off topic here, but I was cranking, dude. You know this. Olivia Newton-John's greatest hits all weekend at the pool in the backyard, rocking. Olivia Newton-John's greatest hits. Dude, it was sad. It was sad to see her go. Just want to point that out. See,
I had no idea getting the information at her passing. She sold 100 million albums, dude. She sold 100 million albums worldwide.
That's a lot of albums. I mean, that's insane. But think about
that's fucking crazy. I had no idea. I had no idea. I knew she had hits. I knew she had country songs. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she had the stuff from the Grease soundtrack. She had Xanadu, that stuff. Magic is the best song. But,
totally. Yep.
But what people were downloading after she passed away was Hopelessly Devoted to You, the #1 download. That was what people were gravitating towards. So you got to say that's her biggest song. I don't know if that's her biggest selling song of all time, because I go back to this stat all the time. The most downloaded Beetle song. Have we talked about this?
Yeah, I think we have it. Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun.
Right.
It wasn't even fucking released as a single.
No, but
the Beatles didn't even think enough of it. They're like, fuck you, George. Just put your dumb song on there and let's move on. Right, I believe it's the most downloaded Beatles song ever. And those guys never even thought to release that as a single. So
pretty amazing.
It doesn't mean that in this MP3, downloading era, Spotify, whatever you're doing, it doesn't mean Hopelessly Devoted to You was her biggest song, but it is right now.
Right. Right. Well, I think there's so much, it's a sentimental song. It's like, oh man, she's gone. And yeah, you know what, it's not like I sat around all my life cranking up Olivia Newton-John, but anytime she'd show up in the media, you're like, God, she's still hot. She's still cool. And I was in a discussion at work after it happened, and I was talking to somebody. I'm like, you know what? You know what's really weird is like, I'm not a blonde guy. Like, I'm a brunette guy. I'm a fan of brunettes. We all got our flavors we like, right? I've never really been into blondes, but for some reason there was something about her. And it's not like she was like that smoking hot blonde. She just had this.
She was at the end of Grease. That was my first fucking boner.
Yeah. No, that part is great. But she just had this presence that was gorgeous. She just commanded and owned. You know what I mean? Like, she just had this thing that, you can't put your finger on, but she was gorgeous in that way. It wasn't like she was just hot. She was just overall beauty, Anyway, what were we talking about? I forgot. CDs. That's
my first boner.
I like to skip right on past that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can go on past that.
Dude, so my first CD, I had to go look it up. Just so you know, if there is somebody out there that doesn't know Billy Squier, this is In the Dark, track 1.
Great
Number
song.
2 is The Stroke. Number 3 is My Kind of Lover. And then song 6, Lonely is the Night. What the fuck?
That's 4.
That's 4 bangers off of that album. That's 4 bangers. Don't Say No, title track, great song. I mean, there's some great songs on here, but he had 4 bona fide fucking, songs that slapped. Great album. All right.
What's interesting about Billy Squier is, classic rock, not a lot of airplay for some reason. Those songs just never worked very well in the later years here. And I don't know why, because those songs are great. They slide in nicely amongst everything else, amongst getting the lead out and all that shit. Yeah, that's weird. People don't know. Go look up Billy Squier. It's good shit. Now, he had some bombers down the road, but what was the one that killed his career? The video, we talked about this before. What was the video? Remember, it was so bad.
Rock Me Tonight.
And I like that song too.
But the video absolutely crushed him.
It was cheese. It was
what he was wearing, how he was dancing, how he was crawling on his elbows.
Yeah, it was really like, nobody said don't do that, dude. He didn't have handlers that were very good.
We didn't call it cancel culture. It wasn't called that. It's just when somebody you didn't like, you just didn't like somebody. This guy got canceled.
Yeah, he got canceled hard.
He 110% got canceled.
But not because there was something wrong. He didn't call someone a bad name or anything, right? It was just
shit, He didn't. Well, it was wrong to make that video. But you're right. He didn't do anything to, he didn't offend any particular group.
Right.
He didn't misspeak. He just made a video and
fucking terrible.
It's the worst. He's the worst fucking dancer of all time. And he's a cool dude, man. Like Billy Squier is a fucking badass. At one time, they were considering him to be the lead singer of Van Halen. So this just gives you an idea. If you're even thought of to possibly be in Van Halen, it's like, okay, you got to be pretty cool, right? Yeah. He looked awesome on stage. He was a good guitar player, killer voice, killer songs. And then he made just an awful video and he got canceled. He got canceled before cancel culture was even, before it was coined that.
And what's funny is like he makes this one video that's just awful, but like look at all the mid late 80s Kiss stuff. Let's put the X and sax and all that shit. Like that's some awful embarrassing shit.
It's worse. It's way worse. But for some reason, America was not ready to see Billy Squier look like that and dance like that. And then that's it. Boom. He got absolutely destroyed and completely misrepresented in that video.
The image did not hold up on that. If he had good handlers, they just said, don't fucking do that, dude. No, don't do that. We're not paying for that shit. You know what? I'm going to have to go watch that video tonight when we're done because I got to see it again to see how bad it is.
He's crawling. He's cat crawling, but he's crawling on his fucking elbows. It's like crawl like a cat or a dog on your hands. He's crawling on his elbows. What is going on? Snapping his fingers. They're snapping. There's too much snapping. God. There's too much everything.
Shame. It's awful.
He rips his shirt. And then they go back to it. And then they pause there. He's wearing pastels.
Was there slow motion? There was slow motion too, wasn't there?
There's slow motion. When he rips his shirt, they stop right there. He's like one leg up. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
I'm going to cancel him again. That's awful. Yeah. How do you make these decisions? You know what I mean? Like, was he a drinker? I don't remember if he was or not. He had to be, because why would you do that to yourself?
Who's giving him that advice back then?
Exactly.
Who said, Billy, come here. I got what you need, dude. We're doing a new look. We got a whole new thing. We got to keep up. The kids are going to love this. I'm bringing in a choreographer. They're going to teach you to snap. You're going to do a new dance. You're going to do some new stuff. And we're going to crawl on your elbows. And then you're going to rip your shirt off Hulk Hogan style. We're going to stop it. And he said, okay, I trust you. I trust you that this is going to be good for me. And he must be able to pinpoint an exact day where he said, okay, because you watch these things, you get dailies, you're filming a video, you're looking at it, you're updating it. You're like, okay, here's the final thing. We're going to send this to MTV. Are you ready? Yeah, he must have okayed that. He must remember that day that he said, send it. The kids are going to love this.
It's weird because, not everybody liked MTV. Not everybody wanted to make those damn videos. A lot of bands were like, fucking, this is dumb. What am I doing this for? But he had previous success with some decent videos.
They were kind of live videos from what I remember, like from my album. I think I remember him being up on stage and being a fucking cool, badass dude.
Just rocking.
I mean, he was, you know what, Billy Squier, would you agree? He's a rockin' Bruce Springsteen. He was kind of thought of like that. Like he was just an all-American guy. He had long hair, probably wearing a flannel shirt. And you know what I mean? Like, he was a fucking dude.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of like how Billy Idol has always had that solo career and just kept going, like Billy Squier should have kept rocking. But yeah, you don't hear shit from him anymore. It's a shame. Man, don't make a bad video, I guess, is the key here, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought something over to me.
Oh, dude. So this is nuts. This is nuts.
You asked me about a guy that said something to me at work.
So
you said, do you remember? You said, what did the guy say to you at work about your sneakers, your shoes?
Right. Because, you go to work and you're in and out, fucking getting some water, getting a coffee, getting the fuck back on the air. I'm the same.
In the middle
guy.
of a song. Right.
I'm in the middle. Like I'm in and out. I don't sit around and chit chat. I'm the worst at the office. I'm not the guy that's going to hang out. I'm there to work. Okay. I don't want to talk about your cat. I'm just not that guy. Okay. And so you brought up the story many podcasts ago about water cooler talk, and it was the weirdest fucking thing I ever heard. So
Sky Mike again. Sky Mike. His name's Sky Mike. He's a good guy. He just is so fucking. I wish everybody was this passionate about work. This guy's so into traffic. Okay. Like he's so into traffic, dude. Jesus. I love him. I love him, you know, and he's like, dude, you ever need anything with traffic? I got speed dial. I got my girls. I got girls on the toll road. I got you. If you need anything with traffic, I mean, he's a great guy.
That's awesome.
He's so fucking passionate about his job and he's good at it. He loves the shit out of traffic. So I see him in the hallways, bathroom, getting coffee while I'm on the air. And I wear bright colored sneakers. I buy a lot of new sneakers. That's I guess a luxury that I afford myself. I feel like I'm on my feet. I'm going to buy myself good shoes. Important. And then I buy bright ones, you know, running shoes, Brooks, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And these ones are like bright yellow, like tennis ball yellow. Is that green? Is that yellow?
Green. Yeah, like highlighter yellow?
Yes. I think they're more yellow. All right. And everyone likes to comment on them. Like, oh, geez, those shoes are really bright. Fucking like just any dolt would say at work, you know, in the hallway. They got nothing to say to you. It's like, you know, how's the weather? And Sky Mike isn't just your average guy. He's like, man, I like those shoes. I'm like, thanks, bro. He goes, man, they're really bright. I go, yeah, well, I get up early. Helps me see where I'm walking in the morning. Because when we get up to work, you know, it's dark.
Yeah. Right.
He goes, let me know if you ever get rid of those.
That's so funny. Holy shit.
He kept walking. This is me. I'm already walking away. Like he goes to the AMs. I go to the FM stations, but the kitchenette is in the middle. So he's still kind of talking and I turn around and we're both walking backwards towards our radio station. And he goes, let me know if you ever get rid of those. I go, all right.
Okay. First call I'll make.
And then I turn the corner. I'm like, the fuck? He wants my shoes? Like when I'm done with them, I'm 6 feet tall. Sky Mike is maybe 5'5". I'm going to sneak an inch on him because I like him. Sky Mike maybe 5'5". Let me know if you ever get rid of those. The shoes? the shoes that I'm wearing? He goes, yeah.
Oh, so he knew it wasn't just like he wasn't like flustered and just wanted to say something at the end. It wasn't like a misspeak. He actually followed it up with, yeah, no, those I want.
I went, these shoes? He goes, yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't a misspeak.
Wow. I was walking. I'm like, all right, Sky Mike. If I unload these shoes, I'm coming at you. If I unload these shoes, I'll check in with you, let you look them over, see if are they worthy to be thrown away or you thinking about it, you know? Now we're going to have to pack them. We're going to have to pack the toes with put some newspaper in there or something. I got big feet, man. They're 13s. Okay. Sky Mike is 5'5". What's he wearing? An 8?
He's going to sleep in them.
What's Sky Mike wearing? An 8? Maybe. Right? I'll give him 8.5 because I like him.
Both feet in one shoe.
Yeah, that was kind of a silly little hallway thing.
Dude, that's insane. Well, that
happens every day.
To me, only completely different. Okay. So I've been at this new gig for 3 months now. So I know everyone.
No, I'm sorry. The big boss, fucking program director.
Fucking, I'm in charge. Okay. Like, let's get it done.
No, here comes Jason. Look like you're working. Wipe down a table.
Fuck no, they don't give a shit about me. It's funny how people just don't give a fuck, you know? So these salespeople, I know them enough to just be like, hey, how's your weekend? Good. All right, cool. Hey man, I got a new dog. Oh, that's cool. What kind of dog? Show me a picture. All right, cool. Bye. See ya. Like it's that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I ain't got time to fuck around. I'm in the break room on Monday, right? You know, I'm just getting my coffee, getting my water, getting ready to get back to my desk. I'm on the clock. Let's go.
Yeah.
This nice sales lady walks in and she's a little older. And I said, hey, how's your weekend? She's like, oh, it was great. Great weekend. I had a lot of fun. Did some stuff. I'm like, oh, it's cool, man. Then she just pipes up. Pretty excited about today. Today's going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day.
She's throwing it out there. She threw the line out there.
Okay. Yeah. She's got a story she wants to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I got the hook in my mouth. Let's go. Let's take this journey. Let's go down the road with my person I barely know.
Oh yeah, big day today, really?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a Monday.
This sounds good. Let me sit.
I pull up a chair, cross my legs, pull up my coffee. I'm like, okay, let's go, girl. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, all right, so I'm trying to cheerlead, as a boss, like you said, Rod, I gotta, all right, well, what you got? You close a big sale, you got something going on, you need my help with anything? And she goes, no, man, like I got a call on Saturday night and I'm second in line for a new liver. I'm second in line for a new liver. And I went, oof. The silence you just heard, that was my reaction.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so I jump into
ass. Like you rule.
This fucking mode. And I've got 10,000 questions that burn through my skull right now. Like everyone listening is probably like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, how are you standing here right now talking to me? If you're in line for a new liver, how do you get in line for like all this shit just starts flooding my little skull. And she goes, yeah, I'm real excited. I'm not really worried about it. She's like, I've been on the list for a while and I got a person in front of me. So if for whatever reason they can't get there, they aren't a perfect match, something goes wrong, I'll get a call tonight. If I'm not here tomorrow, you'll know that I'll be getting my new liver. And she's talking about it like people buy shoes, like nonchalant. I'm like, I'd be fucking curled up in a ball in the corner freaking out. Like, and she's badass. I'm getting a new liver. And I'm just like, all right. So that's awesome. I'm pulling for you. If you need anything from me and then I can do for you. Like, I don't know what to say in this moment. I'm like, what do I fucking do? And I just kind of was like, awesome. And I'm like, well, good luck. Let me know how it goes. And I'm like, fuck out of here. Dude. I'm gone.
I'm totally vibing from your story. I'm totally relating to your story.
I'm like, what the fuck?
So we do open phones Friday, the last hour of the show.
It's great. Great bit.
Take calls. Yep. The last hour of the show. And some people say, what dude, you're just throwing away the last hour of the show. I'm like, I fucking work harder on that because when you get a phone call, it's like, boom, it's on me. I got to make something happen here. Yeah. So it's fun. I like it. If you want to give a cheap plug, in and out. You got a band? Fuck. Get in, get the fuck out. Nobody needs www. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing. Chili works with them. Yeah. Exactly. Nobody needs the address of your spaghetti sale. Okay. You're selling spaghetti. Little girl is sick. Okay. Let's get there though. Where do I go? Give me the Facebook page, that type of thing. Yep. So sometimes that stuff comes in and it can be a little serious. Right. And then it's like, hey man, I'm an artist. I'd like to give my Instagram out and maybe people take a look at my art. Bam. Great. Somebody wants to call about a gripe. I saw a guy the other day, didn't put his fucking grocery cart back. It could, I don't know what's going to be on the other end of that line.
It's great though. It's a great bit. Love it.
Gal calls me up, says, hey Rod, love the show. I listen every week. I hear people giving plugs out and I'm at the end of my rope here and I need a liver. Now you got cornered in your little kitchenette at the radio station and you don't know what to do.
Right.
Live radio, baby. No net.
Oh,
no net.
Yeah. No net.
She goes, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm throwing it out there. This is it. It's getting bad. I need a liver. Holy shit. I said, now, you're live on the radio. I can live in the moment on the radio. I can. And it's a little bit more comfortable when you and I are talking here because I'm not looking at the clock, and I'm seated and I wanted this podcast to sound different.
Yeah.
There's never a second. As much as we get rolled up and captured up in things, sometimes it gets very heavy too, but I always know I'm on the radio. So I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with this? You got to make a snap decision. And I said, let's get after it. What do I need to know about liver donation? What is it? Is it a blood type? Is it somebody, that lives near you? Is it who listening could even play along with this right now? And she said, Rod, let me tell you about Share the Spare. And don't you know, dude, we have a discussion live on the radio. And then, we got people calling up. Hey, man, I want to donate that liver. Dude, I want to donate or a kidney. I'm sorry, kidney. This is a kidney.
Like, you can't just fucking donate your liver.
This is a kidney. My bad.
Cool. Different part.
So she needs a kidney. She's on dialysis. It's bad. It's looking grim. It's like, I need this to happen. Well, don't you know, we got somebody that went through the process donated the kidney.
What?
Called the kidney Chili because Chili put all the calls through. She's got a little chili in her. Now she calls back. It's not really doing well. We got to go do this again. But someone else heard that. Dude, we got someone else. That happened 2 times during Open Phones Friday.
Jesus.
Insane. Wow. But you want to talk, just like you got, like, you're
hammered.
You're stymied, right?
Yeah. It doesn't happen very often.
Correct. Now imagine that the on-air light is on. Yeah. I'm like, oh.
Well, not when you're in that moment, you can't just blow it off either. That's like heavy shit. You can't just go, okay, well, that's cool. We'll take your call off air. We'll get some help for you. You could have easily done that and moved on and went and talked about somebody's spaghetti breakfast or some shit, right? That's a tough one because you're in a weird moment right there.
And you're keeping things moving and you can't sit around and spend the time on it. The time I took to tell that story, boom, she was on and off the air and people were already calling with their information. I mean, it moved really, really quick, but
insane.
Wow. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. And then there's another guy, his wife called. She's like, listen, I know you already did this once before and I'm sorry, but this is it, man. My husband is like, that's it. They can only do so much more. And we got that guy a kidney. Share the spare.
Like, all right. And we're getting off on a fucking wild tangent, but like,
go ahead.
That's incredible. But like, what kind of person, obviously a very good one, who's just chilling, driving down the fucking, heading through the Starbucks drive-thru and goes, oh yeah, you know what? I got a spare. Let's do this shit.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. I partied with the chick that donated the first one. She came out. I gave her BuzzFest tickets and everything. And I wanted the gal that received the kidney. I wanted her to come out. But man, it's just, she was really, I mean, I'm talking at the end. She was right there at the end. And then I don't think Little Chili's doing that great right now. So we got some work to do.
Right.
But yeah, no, I teared up. And I'm sorry, I don't know anybody's name off the top right now, but when she came in to where I was at and she's like, and she wasn't looking for, I want to be recognized, but she's like, hey, I wanted to meet you. I'm the one that donated. And I'm like, oh my God, she didn't even get it out. And I hugged her. We're crying, dude. Amazing. Dude, a bit on the radio,
a random stranger
on the radio.
Like
one of these days, there's, What's nutty is there's 15 stories like that things that go on behind the scenes that weren't maybe live on the air, strange emails that come in, reaching out to somebody, people leaving you stuff, social media. Dude, I don't think I'll ever sit down and write a book. Because I just don't want to sit down and do it. I want to just sit here and just shoot the shit.
It's easier this way.
But someday there'll be some wild stories that come out. But that's pretty incredible, right?
It's absolutely insane. But you know what it is? It comes down to this. My mom always said from the time I was a very young boy, she's like, man, you got to ask. You got to ask. If you don't ask, they don't know. If you don't ask, you're not going to get any results. Don't be afraid to ask. And that's what it boils down to. I'm still blown away that a random stranger would just go, yeah, I got an extra one. Here you go. Like if a family member came and said, look, man, I'm hurting here. I need a kidney. I'd be like sitting there going, please don't have my blood type. Please don't have my blood type. Please. I'm that guy. Like if it came down to it, I'm sure I would make the call, but man, it would take me some real headspace to try and wrap around. You know what I mean? Like that's wild. I'm glad they did it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's amazing people to do that, but holy shit.
Now, when did Liver Girl talk to you? Was that this week?
That was Monday. And she didn't get it. So the person got, but she's like, she's still coming to work and doing her thing. She must be on some meds and some other, I don't know what goes on there, but
I don't know anything about it. Right.
Dude, like I'm like, ooh, can we get back to just talking about the weather or the game last night or shit like that? I like that kind of comp. So, how like you even made a comment like, oh, you talk about the weather or whatever, my shoes. I'm okay with that kind of talk. I got no problem with that anymore. I'm good. I don't need
even when we got off the phone with her and I'm like, okay, who wants to call in about their band now? I mean,
show's over. I'm cutting out early.
Like who wants to call in and complain about their neighbor mowing the lawn too early on Saturday morning? Okay. Like who fucking wants to come on after that? We should take a break.
Yeah. the little girl with the lemonade stand, you kind of feel bad for her, but you know what? She'll still end up getting that, kickball or whatever else she's trying to go, soccer shirt. Yeah. No, that's wild, dude. That's awesome, though. Holy shit, dude. I got to do this top 5 list. So why don't we take a break quick?
All right. Let me tell you how I got here. So Sean Penn's having a birthday today, 62 years old. So the easy thing would be, hey, let's do our favorite Sean Penn movies. I started looking at Sean Penn movies, and I don't have a whole lot of Sean Penn movies that I love.
He's got some weird shit.
He's good. I haven't seen a lot of Sean Penn movies. I mean, I could pull together a top 5, but Sean Penn, to you, I know you, I know me. Sean Penn is always going to be Spicoli, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Well, what are kids doing right now? Kids are going back to school. Okay, wait a minute. Spicoli, Fast Times, school. Wait a minute. High school movies. So that's what I threw your way. Without writing anything down, I said, there's got to be some great high school. I knew off the top of my head, I can go boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So I sent it over to you and you're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. This sounds pretty good. So high school movies, top 5, and shit, if we should ever break and do a top 10, it would be this. This is good. This is good because it's not that it's hard to come up with the 5 best, but man, I want to talk about them all. It's a great genre of movie for me, especially when they're older and it's a little bit closer to like it relates to how you spent your time in high school.
Right.
But even some of the ones that as I'm older and they're in high school, I'm still appreciating. So I want to talk about them all.
Yeah. No, I think we kind of rifled through our top 5s and then we can dive into the rest because there's a couple that I'm like, oh yeah, that is a high school movie. Didn't think about that one. So yeah, dude. Let me get my 5 together because I got a list here that's a mile long. I got to squeak out 5 real quick. So why don't you talk about our good friends from the Pirates of the Quarter, our sole sponsor?
Yeah, when you go to New Orleans, make sure you book the Pirates of the Quarter walking tour. Very, very fun. Loaded with information, and there is no other tour like it in the French Quarter. So you're walking around the French Quarter and everyone's heard of it. Everybody knows Bourbon Street. You're going to want to go. You're going to want to party your ass off. Okay, we're telling you, yes, that is absolutely a part of your experience in New Orleans. But make time and just carve out a little bit of time, man. An hour or 2, you're hanging out, you're walking the streets of the French Quarter, and you're hearing incredible stories. Real stories of real pirates and their involvement in the history of forming New Orleans. And where you're walking is where some of the history and all the things went down. There's so much more to New Orleans than just Bourbon Street. Don't get me wrong. Bourbon Street, badass. All the drinking, walking around, badass. Partying, yes. Just carve out just a little time to discover some of the history. I'm trying to do your commercial. Discover some of the history of New Orleans. Details, piratesofthequarter.com. You can book them online. And just put this away when you're going to New Orleans, man. Make sure that this is one of the things you do because it's going to be one of the things that on your flight home, and this is what everyone does. You leave New Orleans and everyone talks about, oh yeah, remember this Friday night? Remember this? There's going to be something that you learn. There's going to be something that was said during that pirate tour that on the flight home, that's going to be something that you're going to talk about. And that's always great because you're going through the greatest hits. You're going through the highlight reel. You're going through the game film and you're running it back on the way home. You're going to talk about this tour. Piratesofthequarter.com at Pirates of the Quarter.
You know, Rod, it's this high school movie thing was cool. And the more I think about it, the more I wish I could have more time to do a little bit more research because I'm just scratching the surface here, man. I just made my top 5. I just literally went down my list of probably 10 movies I scratched out. I made my 5, but it'll probably change again and again and again because.
So, I mean, we haven't done a podcast in a week. Technically, we could come up with these things like, like right after. We could come up with next week's top 5 right now, and then you'd have a whole fucking week to work on it.
Nope.
So
no. That's
you in this
not
last minute thing. All right.
Yeah, it's not how we roll. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. It's good.
I'm just going to be mad. In the history of our top 5s, there's only one list that I went first. And when you went second, I was so mad that you said something that I didn't have on my list.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm running that risk right now.
Probably not.
I feel like I'm running that risk.
No, minor. Well, I've got one curveball in there. I think that's it. You'll be fine. Okay. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead. It's all good.
In at number 5, and this is truly, I'm a little bit older. This was the next generation, but I do feel like this started a genre, American Pie.
Oh, fuck. I'm already mad out of the gate. Didn't even think
dude.
Of that one.
Stifler's mom, bitch. MILF.
I forgot about that.
How did you forget about American Pie?
Because I'm dumb. Look at me. Jesus. Oh, American
Pie.
Now,
I want to say there's 4 or 5 in this franchise, but this is 1999.
It was great.
When this movie came out, I'm out of high school for a long time now. It's 13 years removed from high school. But it was the first movie that I thought connected me back to the stuff that I grew up with. And I thought it was worthy to sit in that crowd of what's coming, fucking just classics, right?
Yep.
I thought it was the best. I thought it was the best movie that wasn't made by the guy that made most of the movies that I'm about to talk about.
Yeah. And American Pie came out. It was so it was raw. It was dirty. But it was I've been to house parties, and the house parties were messed up in high school like that. And you're right. It nailed it. I was like, no, this all makes perfect sense to me.
It was the first movie that I watched. And then this happens to you maybe as you get a little bit older, but it was the first movie that I watched that, man, I was a little jealous that I wished that I was still their age, because they were doing it so good.
Yeah.
The Stifler's party, all this stuff, the pale ale, the jokes, everything. I'm like, wow, kids are still doing that. That's awesome. And wow, they're doing it so good. I wish I was there. I'm a little jealous right now. And that's why the movie was so good.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Loved the whole damn thing. I didn't even put it on my list. Okay. Well, all right. I already suck. Damn it. Okay. What do you got for 4? I like this. Shit.
In at number 4, 16 Candles.
Okay.
16 Candles. John Hughes is the best. He's the fucking GOAT. Did we do a John Hughes top 5?
Funny you bring that up, because we've had a lot of people comment, hey, you guys, you dumb top 5s. You should do a John Hughes one. I'm like, oh, that's probably a good idea, but we're not going to, because we're doing this and it's going to all get thrown in there probably. So,
I mean, he gets talked about on this. He gets talked about quite a bit, but John Hughes is the absolute GOAT of 80s. He wasn't a teenager when he made these movies, but for some reason he knew teenagers.
Yep.
He knew teenagers better than anybody, and everyone that worked for him, because he's no longer around. And I did read a book on him, and anyone that says that they worked with him, they said that he listened and he let them talk. He let Molly Ringwald talk. Molly Ringwald would tell him. But the other thing that John Hughes was a master of, and he's right up there because I don't know if you saw the news that there's going to be a John Hughes box set coming out.
Oh, wow.
And I'm wondering how deep they're going to go with some of the songs. He is right there. I don't even know that Martin Scorsese is number 1, but because he did it first better than everybody, Martin Scorsese is the best at placement of music in his movies. And then Quentin Tarantino is right there. But John Hughes, I feel, is on the same level of Quentin Tarantino. I think the music that he chose, he was choosing stuff that he wasn't choosing stuff that not everybody knew who Modern English was and who these bands were that he was using and featuring in these movies. He was the fucking GOAT of the 80s. No doubt about it.
Those songs, man. I mean, he made those songs huge.
All these soundtracks are amazing. 16 Candles at 4, Ferris Bueller at 3, Breakfast Club at 2.
Yeah.
And the greatest high school movie of all time is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The reason we're doing the list, because of Spicoli and because of Sean Penn's birthday, who I always said, I thought Sean Penn was a bit of an asshole, that he was so far removed from that role. Like, he wouldn't be cool. Like, you can't go around calling him that. Otherwise he'd punch you in the face. He's such a serious guy. During the pandemic, they did a reading.
Yeah. That was cool. Actually, did you watch that?
I watched a little bit of it. Dane Cook put it together.
Yeah, it was actually for charity and stuff. It was really pretty cool. Like, Brad Pitt was one of the guys, right? Jennifer Aniston was in it.
They had big name people doing it, but Sean Penn, I don't think played Spicoli.
No, he was like the narrator. So I think he didn't want to play that part. That's kind of weird, you know?
But it was that other weirdo actor, the kid. I'll come up with it. And he looked like he was stoned during the movie.
Yeah.
The kid from Transformers.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, I think, played Spicoli.
But he was great because he's in this car. He's all stoned. I'm like, okay, he's taking this and really running with it. Good for him, man. It was weird. It was very weird. But if you're a nerd, like love that kind of shit, it's a good watch.
And it was a Zoom thing, and it was during the pandemic, and I thought it was really cool. And then obviously Dane Cook is close to our age, so cool. He knows that that's the fucking greatest high school movie of all time.
And it's so funny because that movie, a good high school movie for criteria wise, is like you need to relate to somebody in that high school movie, right? Like who are you in that movie? It's like you look at Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and you're like, okay, which one of those dipshits would I have been? Probably Rat, the dipshit who was working at the movie theater. Like I know guys who were the Damones. I know the Spicolis. I know those guys. I was none of those guys. Actually, you know what? I probably would have been closer to the guy who worked in the restaurant, Judge Reinhold. I'd have been more of that guy, like responsible guy and working and getting his car and all this bullshit and just getting pissed on by everybody. You know what I mean? Like just you were whipping it. That actually, you know what? That's who I would have been. Who would you have been?
Jeez, in Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, right. I would have been the big black defensive end of Ridgemont High with the TA.
Holy shit. No, probably not that one.
I don't know, but as we're talking about John Hughes, it needs to be said. And I did have to look this up. I don't know this off the top of my head, but Amy Heckerling, a female, made that movie, and it was her directorial debut. So as I'm praising John Hughes, Fast Times is not John Hughes, but it is the greatest high school movie of all time.
And it was written by Cameron Crowe, is that right? Or am I missing that up?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that dude could write a fucking high school movie, huh? Holy shit.
Yeah. He did the screenplay for it, and Cameron Crowe is another one that just knew. He's a next level guy. He's a next level guy. But yeah, Amy Heckerling. Let's see what else she did. I know she went on to do some big things, but that was her first movie that she directed.
The movie's great, but it's like I always watch the same scenes. I never watched the whole thing. Like I always watch the same scenes over and over again when the kids are buying Van Halen tickets from Damone. Come on. So great. Well, all those, hey, you're going on a date. What do you got to play? Side 2 of, Led Zeppelin 4.
Side 2 of Led Zeppelin 4. But dude, there's some really, spoiler alert, the girl gets an abortion in that movie. And that's not something that was handled and talked about in movies. It's a comedy. Okay. Yeah. It's a comedy. But look at some of the things that were going on in that day. They really pushed the envelope a lot.
Oh, and she's banging that older guy, that guy who's like driving a car. And it's like, what the fuck?
She's got to be somebody's baby. Yes. Yeah, the Jackson Brown comes on. Every time I hear that Jackson Brown song, I'm like, oh my God, my kid's never leaving the house. My kid is never leaving the house. She goes out the window and then boom, creepy guy who's way too old, who's complete. And then she's, she's in the,
is that where she's in like the baseball dugout or something?
She's in the dugout. She's reading the graffiti and weird leather jackets. Stereo salesman is banging her. Oh, it's gross. It's gross. But then Damone, your boy, gets her knocked up. And then they go get an abortion.
Away. Yeah.
You're like, Rod, are you sure this is a comedy? I'm like, yes, it is.
Funny as hell.
I mean, listen, some of this stuff Breakfast Club got a little serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's high school, man. Bad shit happens in high school, dude.
Breakfast Club had a moment where they were all sitting around and, and that was, that was the genius of the highs and the lows. And it's like, that was, part of the greatness of the movie with the music. So, yeah, there's my top 5. I want to talk about 10 others.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have. Oh, no, we have one. Oh, we have one fucking duplicate out of the 5. One. How is that even possible? Wow.
I don't know.
Dude, this is good. This is probably one of our first. Usually it's like, oh, yeah, same songs. Okay, good job, guys. Wow, great. Fucking wait, a lot of diversity in your stupid top 5s. No, this one we kill it. Number 5. Napoleon Dynamite.
It's a great one. I got it written down.
And I'll be honest, when it first came out and everyone was talking about it, I didn't see it. I'm like,
nobody got it.
I didn't get it. Like, I was like, well, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, man. This is awful. Then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, this is funny. This is fucking weird, but funny. So the first weird.
I'm watching that movie. I must be home. Christmas time. I don't know. It's already out for a little bit. So it's like something, it's got a buzz, right? People are talking about it. So we get this movie and I'm watching it with my sister and my mom. And then we put it on and Sue and I are giggling because we're the same person. She's 3 years older, but we're giggling. My mom gets up 15 minutes into the movie and she goes, "You people are dumb." And she left the room and put on the TV in the back room. That's her line. Because we're just chuckling a little bit because it's stupid. And we're kind of just giggling. And then the fucking dance scene comes on and we lose it. Okay. We lose it. And then we rewind that thing and we watch it 10 times and we're pissing ourselves. And my mom repeats it. "You people are dumb."
But there's so much like it. The more you fucking watch that movie, the more the gold starts to rise. It takes a lot of watches. And then you're just like, oh, yeah, this is genius.
And then you start quoting it with your friends. And that's always a sign of, even if it's a shitty movie, when you start getting some quotes and your buddies start quoting it, it's over. That's what happened with Anchorman and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't until people started quoting shit, because I didn't really think Ace Ventura was that funny the first time I saw it.
Right.
And then obviously it's a masterpiece now, but it's until we started like throwing things out there. It's like, wait a minute, there's something here.
Yeah. That movie, it took me a lot of watches. Now, if it's on, I'm watching and I'm laughing my balls off. All right. Number 5, that was Napoleon Dynamite. Number 4, dude. And I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so it may not be good anymore.
I promise you I have it written down.
But I just saw it come up somewhere in social media and it triggered all these memories. So I'm like, I had to put this on the list. Because it was on back when we were kids and we got cable for the first time. HBO only ran like 3 movies and they just put them on loop and they kept going and going and going. And My Bodyguard.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
On that fucking loop as a kid. I swear to God, I watched those kids fight.
I'm just showing you my page. I have it written down.
Nice.
My Bodyguard. I have it written down.
Matt Dillon, the little weird kid, and then the big guy. And it was a good movie, man.
Mother's Paw. I got to look him up. Mother's Paw. That kid was also the kid in Meatballs.
Yeah, he had a hot minute there when he was the cool kid. He was weird. He wasn't like good looking. He just was that sensitive kid. And My Bodyguard, man, I might have to go back and look that one up again. Maybe it's not so good anymore. Memory is telling me it was good. Oh, that was the number 4.
Chris Makepeace. Mother's Paw, I think, is in Devo. Chris Makepeace. Yeah, he hires this guy. He's getting bullied in school and he pays a guy to be his bodyguard.
Yep.
It's pretty great.
Good. It's a pretty good movie, man. It's pretty
That's your number 4.
That was number 4.
Good list.
I go here. Oh, number 3. And this is my curveball. And maybe you'll be like, nah, it's not a curveball, dude. Dead Poet Society.
Got it written down right here.
That is a high school movie, right? It's a private school, I guess, right? And anytime Robin Williams is like, there's parts of that movie I'm like, who gives a shit? But when Robin Williams is teaching these kids, like, I remember watching that movie the first time years ago going, my teachers are not like that at all. If I had a teacher like that, holy shit. He made you want to go to school and learn. He was so great in that movie. All the things about words and use words. Don't say that she's very pretty. Say she's, whatever the hell the lines were, right? It's so good. It's so good.
When Ethan Hawke gets up on the desk and he's the one that starts it and the "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Great.
It is. That is one of the movies that's going to get me this close, or it'll get me crying. Right now, it'll get me bawling easily. But back in the day, it was so close. Right now, I cried everything. That scene is one of the best scenes. I mean, if you want to go high school movies and like top 5 scenes, that for sure is in there. I had Dead Poet Society in my top 10. Great movie.
Yeah, it's not a real funny movie, but just so great and inspiring. It inspires you, man. Anytime Robin Williams, you're just like, oh, fuck, you're right. I need to get my shit together. That's the old I need to get my shit together movie. Anytime you watch that, you're good to go. That's number 3. Number 2, I put down Fast Times. I think you know why. And I can't believe this didn't even make your top 5. I'm blown away that Dazed and Confused did not make your top 5. I love that movie. That's another one that like everyone was talking about. It was so great. And I never got caught up to it. And then I watched it the first time. I'm like, okay, this is pretty funny shit. It's pretty good. Like, this is cool. I would like to go to high school back in the late 70s because I loved the cars and the music and just these people were cool. And it was a simpler time. And Ben Affleck's a dick in that movie. But like, the more I watch it, the more it's like Wooderson. It's all Wooderson, man. That whole movie's just fucking cool with Matthew McConaughey.
It's his first movie, right?
Yeah, that was like his first real role. He kind of worked with a director, what's his name, Linkletter, and came up with the all rights and all that shit. It was kind of based on Jim Morrison. Used to say that in concerts and scream it, so he wanted to have like a stoner vibe. Yeah. Dazed and Confused. I can't believe that didn't make your top 5, dude. I'm shocked.
I love that movie. I would probably put it at 6.
Okay. Right. Makes sense then.
These are the 5 that didn't make my top 10. So my top 5. So Dazed and in no particular order. I had Dead Poets Society, Dazed and Confused. The only other high school movie that I put in that same classification as American Pie is Superbad. Yeah. Superbad is fucking awesome. It's unbelievably great. The dialogue between those kids, the fact that Seth Rogen and his buddy wrote that when they were in high school, they wrote the screenplay, and it's awesome. I mean, it's amazing. I think that's the only time, again, since maybe American Pie, where I thought, fuck yeah, they nailed it. That's high school. I kind of wish I was there. I want to be at those parties right now.
Yeah.
And the music and everything about it. Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Billy Bob Thornton is one of the best movie football coaches of all time. He's so believable. He was perfect for that role. Obviously, he's a Texas guy. He had to be the coach of Friday Night Lights. It's one of my favorite sports movies. It's a top 10 high school movie of all time. I never watched one episode of the television show.
No, never seen it.
And I heard it was great. I heard it was awesome. Even Alex on the show says Friday Night Lights was great. Everyone loved it. My mom said it was amazing. I never even watched one episode of it. Never even thought about watching an episode of it. Yet I think it's one of my favorite sports movies, and it's a top 10 high school movie all time.
Yeah, but to quote your mom, you guys are dumb.
You people are dumb.
Are dumb.
You people are dumb.
Yeah, dude, that's all good. I mean, I had
wait. And the other one, just because I want to get 5 more. Do you know the movie 3 O'clock High? Yeah. Did I make you watch 3 O'clock High?
Because it's fucking written right here on my piece of paper.
Nobody knows that movie, bro.
Yeah, I think you.
I know you and I watched that movie before, and I know that I have to have introduced you to that movie
50 times. Yeah,
but why doesn't anybody know that movie?
It's good. Like, it's a good movie. And it's not like it's super funny or anything, but it's a good high school movie because everyone can relate. It's like there's a situation where I don't want to spoiler alert from a movie from the
fuck it, dude. It's a 35-year-old movie
where, like, you know, the little weakling has got to meet the big tough guy in the parking lot after school, and it's like
Casey Simasco is the star of it.
Down, and he's freaking.
So Casey Simasco, the only other thing that where people would remember him from was he might have been in Biloxi Blues, and he was, you know, he had a pretty good role in that. Other than that, I don't know what that kid did, but he was perfect. The way the movie was filmed, the look of it, the music. I still use music beds on my show every day from that soundtrack.
Wow.
It came out in 1987. That movie has a look about it. It's got a feel to it. And I know that you guys would probably think that the clothes look funny because that's how we dressed in 1987.
Yeah.
But the way that movie looks, it is so great. It's an all-time high school movie.
Yeah, it's great. I had it on my list. I didn't make my top 5, but I remember watching that numerous times over the years, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great movie. Shit, I was just oh, you know what? To even go back like way old, it's not like it's super funny. And we've talked about this movie before on the podcast. American Graffiti is a high school movie because they're driving around their cars in Southern California, Pasadena, California. Wolfman Jack's on the radio. That's a great movie.
That's a high school movie. And I got 2 things for you. Is Back to the Future a high school movie? Because Back to the Future is a fucking awesome movie, but that's a high school movie. And I don't think it's ever thought of as a high school movie, but he's in high school and he goes back to his mom's high school. There's high school all over it. Chuck Berry's playing at the high school.
Yeah. The dance.
That's a high school movie.
Yeah. Cause
it wasn't in your thought, was it? So I wrote that down and I wrote Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Are they in high school?
Yeah, because they're doing the report. That's the first one. They got to go back in time to do their report for high school.
Those are high school movies.
Yeah.
And those are high school movies worthy. Even, scratch Bill and Ted. I thought it was good. I never thought it was amazing. No, Back to the Future is fucking dope. I mean, it's huge.
Nobody thinks of it.
That's a high school movie, but I put it in some sort of a different class.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like like the ones we listed. Those are high school movies. Yeah, Back to the Future is basically a high school movie.
You know how I got there? I got there. You know who got me there? Teen Wolf got me there.
Oh,
Teen Wolf
is a high school movie too, isn't it?
No doubt about it. Teen Wolf is a high school movie because the wolf he plays on the basketball team.
Right.
But then, so I'm thinking, fuck, Teen Wolf is awesome. Wait a minute. Back to the Future is huge. That's like one of the biggest movies of the 80s. And it never popped into my head as being a high school movie. And it certainly does count. I still didn't put it in my top 10. There's others that I like more. It's the biggest of all of the movies that we mentioned. Yeah, Back to the Future is bigger than everything on our lists.
Yeah, that's a weird one. It's like that old, you know what this does? This gets you into that argument of, is Gremlins a Christmas movie?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it takes place during Christmas time, but it's kind of a horror movie in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Shit, there was something else. The only one I had on my list that I liked, it may not still hold up, is there's a movie called 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger's in it. He's like the bad boy, and like he's paid to like date this chick. I don't know, it's fucking weird.
I have the soundtrack. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 10 Things I Hate About You, blah, blah, blah. That was back when they had all of these great alternative songs on soundtracks. I may not have seen the movie, but I guarantee I got the soundtrack upstairs. They used to make bangers. They used to make banging soundtracks, man. And there'd always be like 1 or 2 songs that maybe would make it onto the radio. And I mean, we got Green Day songs from the movie Angus. I mean, they just had great soundtracks back then.
When you sent this, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I started thinking, and this gets us into weird territory. So obviously this is where it gets past Back to the Future, but like all the Friday the 13th movies and all the slasher films, Halloweens, that's fucking high school kids, right? Running around, Scream. Isn't that all fucking high school kids?
I don't watch a lot of that stuff, but I do believe Scream are high school age kids. Yeah, so but that would count if somebody wanted to put that on their list. What we always encourage is everybody make lists. And let me just say this, because you got 2 swinging dicks here. If I may fem it up just a little bit, okay. If there was a gal on the show, okay,
there won't be.
10 Things I Hate About You probably would be on there, but I can tell you the big 3. Okay, if I may fem up the show just a bit. Fucking A, we just got done talking about OLJ. Grease is a high school movie. Even though they're 30 years old, it's a high school movie.
Old.
The average age of those students was like 26. So I think Rizzo was 40, I think.
Yeah, they went to the dumbest high school. The kids failed a lot.
Grease is a high school movie.
Right.
And I think if there was a female on this podcast, she would put that on there. She would 100%. And I hate to be so binary here, but girls love Mean Girls and they love Clueless. And those are good movies. Those are good movies. They're just not, they're not in my top 10. They're good movies though.
I've seen Mean Girls a couple of times with the wife, and I like that movie. It's good. It's really Clueless. I could never get into, man. I tried a couple of times. I'm like,
it's good, man. There's good music in it. I mean, it's good. But those three, I think, were like the ones that, okay, this is all cock and balls here.
Well, look at us. We're little cocks and tiny balls. So it's the same thing, though.
Honorable mention. I think maybe a girl or a guy, but a girl would put Footloose on the list.
Yeah, I've tried to watch that movie. I fucking hate that movie. It's just not for me. I don't all the dancing shit. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So Footloose, it is. Risky Business.
Risky Business. I looked at that. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Tom Cruise. It works. It's a good movie.
It's all right.
It's a good movie. And then he bangs Rebecca De Mornay in the subway. Come on.
Weird. It's not as good as in a dugout looking at graffiti on your back, but sure, pretty good.
Oof. I mean, we're talking high school movies, and the name John Cusack has not come up yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? Say Anything? Is that it?
Say Anything and Better Off Dead.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton.
Better Off Dead. And then you mentioned John Cusack. You got to at least say hi to Joan Cusack. And then one of the early ones, Heathers.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Heathers, and that handles that gets into some serious shit too.
That gets weird.
But Heathers is awesome. Heathers is a great movie, and that's
Winona Ryder's in that, isn't she?
Winona Ryder's in that. That's right.
Yeah. Now in Stranger Things, and very good. Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, no, this was a good one, man. There's a lot of good shit in here, and whatever. It's good lists. I like it. Leave your comments, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. YouTube. Put your top five in there. Maybe come up with something we didn't mention. I'm sure we forgot some.
I want to see a couple of chick top fives just to see, do I know your body or not? Am I written by women? Am I written by women when I made my chick top four?
Oh, I know Mean Girls got to be in there. It's good. I like that movie. Well, Tina Fey wrote the damn thing, and she's funny as shit. So I like her stuff. So I love that movie. Actually, it was good. I was a good girl in that movie. I liked it.
What are your thoughts on Rushmore?
Everyone says it was really funny, and I watched it like once, and I was like, "You people are dumb. I don't get it." I literally
people are stupid.
That. I was that. I didn't get it. I right over my head. I don't know. Is it good?
A lot of stuff was filmed here in Houston. Yes. That kid is fucking so funny.
Yeah, I missed it.
It's Talia Shire's son. Adrian from the Rocky movies.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I know the dude. He's been in a lot of weird fucking movies. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Cool Ethan in a movie. He had a hair. Well, it was a college movie though, but he had a hair. He collected that girl's hair and he made a hair doll out of her.
That's gross. Jesus. All right. Well, I like this. Was a good one, man. Good top five. I like this. That one could have been a top 20. Easily could have been a top 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, dude. Let's wrap this shit up. You got any final thoughts?
It's really basic. I'm worried about falling into the trappings of being old. Stuff with work. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it on the air. I probably shouldn't have aired it out. I was a little pissed off. We didn't talk about, strategies and, how to win in the ratings and things that we can improve to make the show sound better. The whole meeting was on fucking TikTok, like how big social media is for my company. The whole thing was on TikTok. And I don't shit on stuff because then you just like, oh, okay, old man River over here doesn't want to do anything. Complaining about the equipment and stuff. I try to, pick my battles and stuff. It's like, Rod doesn't want to move forward. I don't want to be that guy. Okay. Every fucking time that I use the self-checkout at the grocery store, I need assistance. I didn't do anything wrong today. I didn't do fucking anything wrong today. I did it. I got it. I'm taking my time too, because I'm fast sometimes. And I'm like, okay, well, you didn't like close out. Like that's the last item, whatever. Assistance needed. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I mean, I didn't say that out loud. I went, dude, I was in a bit of a rush. I had something that I had to do. I was just stopping to get a couple of things. If I have a basket full of shit, I will wait in line and I will let the people that work there do it. I don't mind. Self-checkout, I had maybe 8-9 things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, just get in and out, dude. Just go. Just fucking go. Just go. Mm-hmm. Thought I did it right. And then boom, the whole thing shuts down and you fucking can't do anything. 3 of the 6 machines are in that mode. And who's third to be assisted? Me. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It just makes me sound older than I am. It makes me sound just as old as I am. I hate complaining about that shit, but fuck, I hate the self-checkout. I get it if you're buying 1 or 2 things. You want to get in and out, you must love it. I see people with a whole basket full of shit. What are your chances of getting in and out of there without needing assistance? They had 10 fucking items I couldn't get out of there.
It's slim. You know what? I kind of like it because probably 80% of the time I use it, I breeze in and I breeze out. But there is those moments where you're like, for the love of, and all they do is come over and they just put their little key in and they go click, click, click. Okay, keep going.
No.
Like,
they got the card on the fucking little drawstring.
And they got to do this. And I'm like, good. Let's go. I'm like,
what did I do wrong, bro?
Yeah, so I don't do it next time.
He just goes, you're good. And I'm not going to shit on this guy.
It ain't his fault.
I go, what did I do wrong, bro? He goes, you're good. I go, you're right. You know what? I'm good now.
I'm okay. I'll move on.
All right.
Yeah.
Just Rod's old. Go ahead.
Dude, I have a proposition for you. I have an opportunity, if you will. Okay. This is good. Shit. This is my final thought. Okay. So a year ago. Okay. I'm up in South Carolina, right? Visiting my folks, I took the podcast on the road. I don't think the people understand the lengths we've both gone to get this on the air. You've done some from Buffalo. I've done some from Florida. You know, I mean, like we do our best to keep this thing going. Just want to throw that out there. When I was in South Carolina, I was in my mom's like little TV/computer room at her place. Yeah. And behind me was a very cool Pelican lamp, right? And it's just there. And you made a comment like, man, you know what? I'd really like to have that. That Pelican lamp's pretty freaking cool. I want that someday. And then not even considering that you just mentioned that you're, killing my parents. No big deal. All good. No problem there.
I mean, not to make it weird, but if there comes a time when they're not around, what's the future of that Pelican lamp?
And then I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I'd want it. Maybe my brother would want it. Maybe my kids would want it. But no, Rod's just jumping the line and I want that Pelican lamp. Give it to me.
A sharp lamp.
I'm the favorite, not your son's son, and mom does like you. I will say that. So, and she's always made jokes about the Pelican lamp. We talk on the phone. She's making jokes. The Pelican lamp keeps coming up. She's like, when I saw your parents at your 50th, which was a surprise party, I didn't know who was going to be in that room, but your parents were there, and I hadn't seen them in a number of years. And she brought up the lamp. She goes, "So you like that lamp?" Well, I did take a shine to it, Mama Ginty. So like she'll go to the doctor and she's like, okay, well, here's the deal. Everything's cool. Tell Roddy ain't getting that lamp just yet. Like the lamp comes up a lot, dude. It's great.
I don't want that lamp for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So I'm talking to my mom this week and she loves watching the podcast. Right. So she's like, hey, and she's like,
it freaks me out. I'm sitting up straighter in my chair already.
I know it freaks me out. Cause I'm like, okay, what did I say that? Oh my God, it's embarrassing. But at this point she knows how dumb I am. So but she'll like go through it and kind of go, that's cool. Oh, I didn't know that. And she was like, oh yeah, no. And last week I brought up the Elvis movie, I'm like, oh, I got to go see it and all that shit. And she's like, I've seen it twice. It's awesome. What are you waiting for? I'll see it again. Well, then she hits me with a proposition, Rod. You're going to like this one. I think it's a fair trade as I negotiate for my mother. She said, you tell Rodney that he can have my lamp. I want that Elvis picture. I want that Elvis picture for the lamp. She's like, I'll ship this shit out now, man. I'll wrap this bitch up.
And drunk Sparky, my grandfather?
You don't give a shit about that.
With the autograph on the back.
That's what she wants. She wants that Elvis picture. So she's like, that is the coolest thing ever, dude. And I'm like, she's like, tell Rod, she's like, man, I'll get him a set. I'll go buy another, here, you can have it, dude. She wants the deal, dude. I think it's fair.
I don't know that's really I'm not going to say no.
No.
I'm leaning no. But I don't feel like I've really weighed it out properly, both sides. I'm leaning a hard no, but I'll get back to you as I'm talking directly to your mom now because she's watching.
Absolutely.
I'll get back with you. I'm thinking, no, it's a probably hard no on that. That's one of the things. You know what? Here we go. Your house is on fire. Top 5 things you grab. Your house and your loved ones and pets are out. Top 5 things you grab from your house when your house is on fire. That's in that top 5. We don't have to do it now. That's in that top 5 list.
Oh, dude, you're coming out charred with that Elvis picture. You're coming out, whiskers are gone, eyebrows are gone. You're coming out.
The fire guy says you got 5 things. And that's it. The house explodes. Go get your 5 things. That's one of them.
Ooh, that's a good list. Jeez.
That's one of them.
I couldn't come up with a
in your house. And again, your pets and your family are fine.
Good. It's
just, it's basically, what are your top 5 coolest things?
Whoa. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a list I'd have to really do some thinking on, I'm afraid. So yeah, I'll let her know that you're thinking about it. It's a pretty good possibility. I'm
hard lean. No. Hard lean, but like when they're arm wrestling and they're just not all the way down yet, and they're not ready to call it, their whiskers just touching. They're just about choked out. They're putting my hand up, and I'm just barely holding it up. I'm not completely out yet.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Very slim. Little,
this is going to come up again and again. You realize that, right? You realize that. So yeah, well, hey guys, I'll work on it I'll talk to her, see what I can do. So this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. And then if you are just listening to the podcast, and you want to watch this sort of nonsense, we do upload this to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on all socials at PlayPantsPod, and that's where you'll find us on YouTube. And I think that's it. That's a wrap. It's enough, man. It's good. Good list today, Rod. I like the high school movie things. I got some movies to watch, and we all got to go watch that Billy Squier video. What was the name of the song again? Rock Me Tonight. Rock Me Tonight. Billy Squier. Everybody, you're already on YouTube. We're wrapping up. You're going to stay on YouTube for another 4.5 minutes, and you're going to thank us for watching this video that ruined this man's career. Damn it. All right. Well, thanks, guys. It was awesome. Good night. Bye, everybody. Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.